Hello, hello. Good morning, everybody. Let me just make sure I'm good to go here. Hello, happy Saturday. Let me just do a quick audio check. Make sure I'm good to go. All right. Sounds like I'm good to go. Yep. Audio check complete. All right. Let me just make sure camera's good. All right. Camera's looking good. I got the overhead camera right to my left. All right. We are good to go. All right. Happy Saturday, everybody. Okay. Of course, my favorite day of the week. Okay. For many reasons. Okay. Of course, we always start the morning with some good embroidery classes. All right. But this is the day where we go very hard. Okay. Just project wise. Okay. Anything that we didn't finish throughout the week. Okay. We kind of have the whole day pretty much to kind of work on anything and also catching up, right? Anything that's pending, we could always catch up on today. And of course, the most important thing is family, right? Saturday, Sunday, big family day for us. All right. But of course, we are always starting our Saturday morning here. It's 8 a.m. Central Time in Northern Illinois. All right. Good morning to everybody here. Okay. Especially good morning to all my West Coast people, very early over there, and my East Coast, 9 o'clock a.m. there. All right. Good morning, Linda. Good morning, Barb. Morning, Evelyn, Gibson, Jesse from West Virginia. All right. Linda from California. Thank you for waking up very early in the morning. All right. Linda, Evelyn. All right. All right. TMG Custom Designs. So handmade. All right. Marisa from Southern California and Legine from Western Wisconsin. Choto. All right. Long Island. All right. Thank you for stopping by today. We have a very, very jam packed informational day today. Okay. My favorite topic, which is 3D Puff. Okay. There's so many little small details we always got to think of when we're talking about 3D Puff. Okay. Usually when it's something flat. So, for example, last week we did the US flag. It was a flat embroidery. So a lot of it is straightforward. Of course, there's always rules when we come to embroidery, but as soon as we get to 3D Puff, now we have to throw rules on top of rules. Okay, so one thing, if this this class today is a continuation from week 10. So week 10 was the 10 rules for 3D Puff. So if you didn't have a chance to see that one, you can always catch it after this one. Okay. Or even just as a refresher or a reminder. So earlier this week, I watched that week 10 again. Okay. Had a lot of good information. A lot of information that I still want to add on top of that. So today, I kind of want to add on top of what we learned back in week 10. Okay. So in week 10, we pretty much talked about correct needles you want to use, correct puff, correct density, okay, capping, okay, we mentioned capping, okay. So all that we learned in week 10, we're going to kind of go through it today a little faster than what we did in week 10. All right, so you can always go back, okay, week 10, I'll link it down below on the bottom. All right, just so like that. Later today, you could always go back and just let it run. All right, so today I want to quickly get into the digitizing portion. All right. So today I want to go over a plan. So this is the Chicago flag right here. All right. Very popular. I've been living here in northern Chicago for about almost 3 years now. Okay, almost 3 years. I'm gonna live here for about another year. All right, and then I'm gonna move to back to California. All right, but here in Chicago, all right, you see the flag everywhere. All right, very nice looking flag. Okay, and you see it decorative in all so many different forms and fashion. All right, so I wanted to go ahead and turn this into a 3D puff. All right, 3D puff. And anytime we deal with 3D puff, so usually even if you send your files out to a digitizer, if you just send it out, if you just send them this file here and you tell them, hey, turn this into 3D puff. All right, there's really a lot of different routes and ways they can go about turning this into 3D puff. So anytime we're talking about embroidery, we always want to know what's on top of what. So I'll make a note here. Layering. All right, just as a side note, I'm gonna write layering. What's on top of what? What's on the bottom? What's on top? All right. So this is just a side note that I have right here. All right. I know you can't really read it too good. Let me zoom in a bit. All right. So just a side note that I made right here. Okay. Layering. All right. Layering. What's on top of what? Okay. Meaning what's going first? What are we going to stitch out first? So in the back of your mind, as an embroiderer and as a digitizer, you want to think about what is going to get stitched first. Okay. Obviously, it's not going to be the stars, right? The stars is probably the last thing that should get stitched out, or at least behind this. Now, also, we want to know what type of stitches we want to use. So we want to know what's the distance, right? What's the distance here? Okay, because really anything 3D puff, okay, 3D puff, when we're dealing with 3D puff, you want your sand stitches max to be maybe 7 to 9 inches wide. All right, so if we're beyond, which we are going to be here, we're going to be beyond 7 inches here. Okay, now we got to talk about different type of stitches. All right, so here, okay, here when we're analyzing, so right now, even before we get into the digitizing, we got to analyze this middle. Okay, this middle, we got to turn it into a fill. All right, so you're kind of making mental notes to yourself. I like to draw this out before I work on a project. I like to just print something out like this and make notes to myself. Okay, just so I once I'm done with that project, I kind of file it up and then I have it, months or years later down the road, and it kind of tells me where my brain was at, what I was thinking about. So here I'm going to say a fill stitch, and anytime we talk about a fill stitch, we're talking about a tatami, okay, tatami stitch. All right, so we can do tatami fill stitch on top of puff. All right, we can. So we're gonna make that happen. Okay. Um, Now sometimes, right? Sometimes this is where you would tell your digitizer, maybe you want this to be emptied out. You don't want anything in this space right here. You just want it to be blank, which I've seen a lot of Chicago flag hats. Okay. They usually, okay, a lot of times they blank out the white portion. Okay. So if they're wearing it on a white hat, they'll just include the stars and the blue stripes here. All right. So those are all decisions that we got to make. Okay. So there's not one way to create this design. So we got to come up with ways. What I want to do today, I want to digitize it 3 different ways. All right. 3 different styles. And then at the end, we'll kind of choose what style you better prefer. Okay. So here, okay, I'm going to say that these blue stripes are on top of the white stripe here. Okay. So this is on top. We're going to say this white one is on the bottom. Okay. And this stripe should be 7 millimeters. Okay. I want it to be at least 7 millimeters. All right. So let me write it like this. All right. So right now we're just brainstorming. Okay. We're just brainstorming, kind of coming up with ideas. So we have the option of not even stitching out this fill stitch here and just putting these stars by themselves, puffed out. Okay, putting these bars here. Now, what I want to do on this first round, okay, on round number 1. All right, so let me I got another side paper right here. All right, for round 1, let's talk about round 1. We're going to do 3 rounds, all right? 3 different designs today. Round number 1. Okay. What I want you to do right now, okay, just as a group, just think about how would you go about digitizing or embroidering. Let's say if you were to send it out to a digitizer, how would you tell the digitizer that you would like this file stitched out? Okay, because there's at least 20, 30 different ways we can do it. And usually if you just send it to a digitizer, he's going to use his preferred method to do it. Okay, usually that's what they do. Usually they're correct. They have the correct design in mind. Okay, but sometimes there is no correct way, or sometimes the customer wants it a specific way, and that way we know if we're good to go. All right. The way I'm going to do it on round 1. So on round 1 right here, what I'm going to do, okay, I call this one the easy way. Easy way to do puff. If you want to do something puff, you want to do it quick and easy, okay, this is round 1 way. Okay, what I'm going to do, this border, okay, so we see this border right here. I'm going to put a sand stitch border all the way through. Okay, what that allows me to do, I don't really have to worry about capping if we do it something like this. All right, so this is kind of like a popular way. You see it when people do, for example, the silhouettes of states. Okay, they'll just do a satin border around the state, and then you could turn that into a quick puff stitch. Okay, so what I'm gonna do on this first round, okay, this whole thing here, 3 millimeters. So big settings here, 3 millimeters. Okay, uh, 3 millimeters, and my density 0.18 millimeters. No underlay, no center underlay, center run underlay. All right, that's really my only settings there. Okay, and what this does, this is gonna allow me to perforate my entire foam. All right, so this round number 1, this is, I would say, it's the least thinking, deep thinking involved in it. All right, all right. So of course, this border here, that's gonna be the last step that we're gonna do. All right, so what I'm gonna do is, okay, the first thing I'm gonna do, white is down below. These blue bars are above. Okay, bar is above. All right, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna run. I want my first stitch to land right here. All right, I want that first stitch to land here. I'm gonna do a run stitch. Okay, I'm gonna do a run stitch. That allows, okay, so from here, from step number 1, I already have the foam placed down. Okay, I'm putting the foam down. It's gonna enter first here. This run stitch here is gonna actually hold down my puff. Okay, it's gonna hold down my puff. So by the time it starts doing the sand stitch, this foam is locked in down here below. All right. So I'm going to run this, and then I'm going to connect to my sand stitch. All right. So I'll color this right here. Allow me to do my sand stitch here. All right. Finish that sand stitch. When I finish, I'm going to walk my stitch up here and do this fill stitch here. Okay. So this whole white area, I'm going to do a tatami fill stitch. Okay. It'll cover it, even though there's foam down below, it'll cover it nice and clean. Okay, and then after I'm done with this fill stitch, I'm going to walk my way up here. Same thing as down below, walk my way up here. in order to hold that foam nice and clean. And then I'm gonna same thing out. Okay, do that sand stitch. That's for the color white. All right, that's for white. All right, and then here, what I got to think about when I do this, when I do my blue bar. So instead of starting here, I'm gonna start on this side. I'm gonna have that needle come in, walk all the way up here, start my sand stitch up here. Okay, all the way through, walk my way up, do the same thing here. All right, so here, these running stitches, they're playing two roles. Okay, one role is to hold down the foam. The second role is a quick underlay, like a center underlay. Okay, even though underlay is really not required for foam, it just holds the foam together. Okay, finish out the blue sand stitches. Okay, and then from there, I can do the stars last on top of that. All right, so I'll do the 4 stars here, 6 corners. All right, bam, bam, and then we do the uh, border. Okay, border last. What this border does, okay, just seals everything together. We don't have to do any capping here. All right, very straightforward right here. All right, so let's go ahead. This is just a preview, right? So um, I'm just kind of drawing out what I'm going to do before I go take it into the software. That way you kind of have an idea of what I'm doing on the software. All right, let me know if you have any questions. All right, let's see. All right, we got a lot of good mornings. All right. All right, good morning, Juana. Uh, Vasil, good morning. Vasil, Maxine from Oregon, good morning. All right, Cedar, good morning. Linda has a question for those that use Hatch. I saw someone mention you have to be connected to the internet to use Hatch. Is that the case? Not a software? You down? Yeah, I think for Hatch, it checks it checks your connection. I don't know every when, but it is yeah, it is. It's a login. You have to be logged in. I'm not sure. I haven't when I had Hatch. I didn't test it when I didn't go offline. I'm pretty sure I went offline a couple of times and it still worked. So I don't know every when you got to check. But if internet connection is kind of is a concern, you could always you could always call them and ask them exactly when do they check. All right. And then Bar said, Linda, when I use Hatch 2, I had to log in. So yes, I had to be connected to the internet, even though the software was installed on my machine. Yeah, 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 yeah. All right. Cool, cool. All right. Directionally obscured. Hey, it's Sweet Home Chicago. Yep. On a hat or on a sew out. On a hat or on a hat. Sew center out. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. Center out. So, okay, that's a good this is a good question right here. All right. On a hat, sew center out. Okay. So center out, right? It's always bottom up, center out. Okay, that's always in theory. Sometimes you gotta kind of go out of bounds, right, from the perfect theory base, right? So let's go back to this drawing right here. All right. So here, that's why I had this running stitch coming from here on out. We're starting on the bottom. Main thing is to push our foam or any of our material in one common place. All right. So here I'm pushing out. Okay, stitched out. Everything is kind of pushing its way out. Okay, so that's how we got to think about. Sometimes you can't always start from the middle out on a hat. Uh, you always don't want to start on the middle because you got this seam right here. Okay, seam that could easily break your needles. So anytime you want to do that first stitch, you always want to start somewhere on the side of it and then work your way out of the middle. Okay. But be careful of starting exactly in the middle. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and let's go. Let's see. Bam. All right. Let's start the digitizing portion. Of course, the most fun part. All right, so here we have the flag. All right, so we have the Chicago flag right here. The dark blue bars on the top, that's not part of the flag. I just put it there so we know our border. Okay, so we can see our border here. All right. Um, Let me just get my thing. All right, so let's check the size. We always want to check the size of our file. Okay, so here width 4 inches. Okay, that's way too big for this. All right, we're gonna go at 2.6 width. Oops, gotta make sure it's locked here, the ratio. Uh, Width 2.6. All right, let's see, 2.6 width, height 1.9, that's cool. What we wanna do here is measure our distances, okay? So, let's see, so I pull out my ruler. Okay, you always want to check your measurements. All right, 7.36. So I'm a little high, all right, but that's fine. That's cool. Okay, let me see here. 7.21. Okay. I'm gonna just make it a tad bit smaller. Height width 2.6, 2.555. All right, that just gives me a little bit more space right here, middle. Oops, let me go millimeters. All right, yeah, we're good. We're here. All right. We can adjust it always. We could always adjust it here. All right, so let me go ahead. Let me lock our design. Make sure it's centered. Okay, so we are centered. Bam, bam. And let me dim it. Okay. This is digitizing for 3D Puff. Okay, so anytime we're dealing with 3D Puff, the way I'm going to do it is trace it. Okay, I'm thinking about tracing. I'm thinking about the sequence, what's going first, what's going second, and then the settings as I go. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to walk just the way we planned it. I'm going to start here. I'm going to walk my way. Okay, just a straight line. Um, I'm just going to make a straight line. So click here, put it up here. All right, I'm just going to use different colors so you could kind of see. So the white doesn't hide. Okay. I'm just going to use this basic column A stitch, which most software has. Okay. Let me get out of that mode. Okay. Start there. Just do a clean trace. And the reason why I like this column mode, this column A, because it'll tell you this distance of your, so right here it's telling me 7.24. Okay. So very, very important right here, right? Because it'll kind of tell you if your design's too big or what. All right. All right. So this part, very easy, right? Um, so just want to make sure that I have 0 underlay. Okay, so let me pull this out. Underlay. Okay, so I want to take out that underlay. I want to have control of all underlay right here. Okay, I want to have control of all underlay. H, I just want to end. I want to make sure I end here. Okay, start here. And I'm just controlling everything from the beginning. Okay, so all my cuts, I shouldn't have any cuts here because I walked over here to this corner and then the sand stitch goes all the way through. Okay, and then here, I'm gonna walk my way up. Okay, I'll start it up here because pretty soon I'm gonna talk about push pull. All right, so I just wanna walk up here and let's see, we could start right here. Okay, so all I did was after I complete this sand stitch, I'm gonna walk my way up. Okay, now I'm going to same thing, column A, but this time I'm gonna do a fill stitch, tatami. Okay, so I could just start it up here and go right here to this corner. Go here. And then here, it'll tell you how big this box is. So 14.39. So of course, there's no way we can do a sand stitch here. Okay. Bam, right here. Okay. So here, I actually do want to put some underlay. Okay. I'm going to put a tatami. Let's see. I remove angles. I'm going to add the angles manually. I want it to run this way. All right. So here, 90 degrees. Okay. And I want to add a edge run. Just put a 40 here. All right. Let's just do a quick replay of what we just did. All right. So it walks over to that corner, does that sand stitch. After the sand stitch, it's going to walk its way up. Now it does the tatami stitch, the underlay. And now it's going to go from top. It just did the edge run. And now from top to bottom, I have the fill stitch coming in from top to bottom. All right. So the only thing I see here, so I stop this H. I wanted to start here, bottom right, but I wanted to end. So this red cross here is where I want it to end. I want it to end here. Okay, that way we continue walking. Okay, we continue walking and we're gonna walk from here. Okay, here to our own custom center run to this corner. Okay, and then what you can do here, you could just copy and paste this bar here. We could just copy, pull that bar from right here. Okay, it's the same bar, so it started up here, top left corner and top right corner. All right, so we could just check ourselves. Trims, one trim, right? So that's that very last trim. So since we planned it out, we already knew the way we were gonna walk. We knew where we're gonna start, where we're gonna stop. Okay, so let's do a quick run through. Okay, super fast run through. Walks up there, does that fill. Okay, now it's gonna end on the right side. It's gonna walk up to that corner and then walk its way out. All right, now one thing I wasn't doing right now, with our sand stitch, we could go ahead and put the correct spacing. So here, since it's foam, we want to put 0.18. Okay, 0.18. Okay, so it's super dense here, ready for foam. Okay, bam, bam. This is all on top of foam. Okay, this is all on top of foam. This one here is the most basic way to do this one. It's actually one of the I actually like this method here because once we see the sample sew outs, you'll see for yourself which one you like best. And this is actually one of my favorite ones. All right, so we have this part ready to go. Now we just got to make the blue bars. Okay. Let's see. Right now, well, we'll talk about the push-pull compensation after this one. So let's go ahead. I'll color this one black. Okay. So same concept here for the blue. Instead of starting from the right, I'm going to start from the left. Okay, so go here. Find this little corner right here. All right, and then column A. Okay, starting from right here. Bam. Making a perfect box right here. All right, actually got to change it to a sand stitch. Take away the underlay, okay, because we just created our own underlay. All right, bam, that's right on top of that. And it's gonna walk. It's gonna walk on up. Do the same thing. Okay. And I'm holding control just to get these perfect straight lines. All right, walk my way up here. Now, I could have copied and pasted that same one, but I'm already here. I might as well just knock this out real quick. Okay. And take out this underlay. All right. Bam. That's what we got so far. All right. So we are almost there. Okay. This one is quick and easy. All right. But there are some details we got to look at. So let's look at our fills 0.18 for foam. Okay. Nice and dense. Let's see. We're at 5,000 stitches right now. Okay. So it's pretty much 100% coverage. Okay. So that's something to expect. We still got to do the border and the stars. So we're going to be somewhere 6, 7, maybe 8,000 stitches on this one. All right. I like to be below 10,000. Anything above 10,000, I'm kind of on the cautious side. It's just reason why I don't like to go above 10,000 is just too much time consuming. And sometimes it's just unnecessary. All right. All right. Let's see. Bam, bam. All right. Uh, Next, what do we got next? So we can either do the stars first or we could do the border. Okay, let's go ahead. We can do these stars. Okay. Of course, so many different ways to make stars. Okay. Let me just put a little guide right here so we could all follow along what's happening. I could make some straight lines right here. Okay. Just kind of help me guide. Um, Help me. This was gonna help me as a guide. All right. Just so when I do want to make an episode just on stars because stars is something that it's always like a moving target. I always find better ways to do stars. Um, but as soon as you change sizes, or in this scenario, there's 6 corners. All right, a lot of the methods that I use changes up a bit. All right, but I do want to make a episode just on stars because I do a lot of designs that have stars. And I think there's a lot of good information on stars. All right, H, get this nice and straight. All right, once we do one, once we make one star, it's pretty much copy and paste after that. Okay. Let me change colors of these, and then I could lock this down. All right, I'm just using this as a guide. All right, to help me out. All right, what I want, my goal here is to create my own underlays and my own sequence for everything. Okay, so what I want to do, I want to start somewhere here in this corner. Okay, walk my way up over here to this side of the corner. All right, let's do this red. We'll do it red. Okay, and then so I'm using pretty much column A for everything. All right, do this corner here. Okay, I want to be at about 0.4. All right, and work my way in here. All right, and then make this let me take out this underlay. All right, this part's going to be pretty tedious because it's a lot of repetition parts. All right, make that red. All right, so I walked in, came in here. Now I should end H. I want to end on this side. And then I'm going to walk back up to this corner. Okay. Column stitch here. And just rinse and repeat. That's all it is. All right. So just a reminder, even though it looks like it's the squared corner, I'm zoomed in 4,600%. All right. So in reality, all right, you're not going to tell that it's a flat corner right there. Okay. So make one here. All right. I'll kind of do it quick right now. You can always do it more precise when you're doing it. All right. Underlay. Hold on. All right. And H. So I want to start up here. I want to end in this corner. Hold on. All right. H. And here and right there. All right. That's fine. Okay. And let's walk up here. All right. The good thing is once we make this star here, we're pretty much, we don't got to redo it again. All right. Okay. H. Want to end it here. Walk. So I'm just doing a sand stitch, walking on up, coming on down. Okay. That was 1, 2, 3. So let's do 3 more. We end here on the bottom one. Walk our way back up. Okay. So everything's being done manually. All right. Let's put this sand stitch with 0 underlay. All right. H. And here, walk. And today, these files, I have 3 files that I'm working on. I'll put them up for download. I'll probably keep them up for download for like the week. Okay. I'll probably um, all right. H. And here, and then this final one. And then one of the lessons learned that I'm always getting from stars. This is one, I think stars on puff is one of the shapes that require the most cleanup. Okay, requires the most cleanup. That's why I'm finding different ways to create stars just to minimize cleanup as much as possible. So instead of just stopping here, I might bring it all the way in here to cover up this, because this is where the cleanup portion usually happens. All right. So here we're super zoomed in, but this is what the normal view is. So when I push 1, okay, so we're up here. Okay. Let me delete these guides here. Unlock. Delete. All right. Bam. All right. Select this, hide all. All right. Actually, let me make them black so we can. All right. Once we got these ready to go, let me just make sure we don't have any unnecessary cuts. So it's R, forward, forward. All right, cool. It would have stopped if I had any cuts. I have it set where it stops at every cut. So if it would have had a cut, it would have stopped. But let's see this replay in super slow motion. Okay. I like to see my files in slow motion. So I start from that bottom corner, okay, and I'm just going to every corner and working my way down towards the middle. Okay, let me speed it up a bit. All right, now I went to that corner again. Okay, now it's going to work its way down. Then it's going to go back up to that corner, work its way down. Okay, now here, since it's on top of a fill stitch, okay, it's on top of a tatami stitch, so we don't have to pick up the density as much. Okay, and then H. This last one, what I like to do, I don't like to end it here on in the middle. H. I want it to end here. All right, at that corner. All right, cool. We're good to go. So now, right, this is the fun part. Once you took the time to create it, we could group this. Just group it, and then we just copy and paste. Okay, same thing. Copy and paste. Bam. All right. That's really the most tedious part of this whole design. Unhide all. Okay, now we have the final thing. Okay, so we have the final. Let me just check our settings here. Pool comp. Here for stars. Okay, I like to bump up the pool comp because stars likes to act up a bit. All right, underlay. 0 underlay because we put our own center run. Okay, that's really the only settings we got to worry about. Fills 38. Yep, that's fine, just normal. Cool. All right. All right. Now, all we got to do is do that outside border, okay, to close it up. So I'm just going to use our digitized close shape. Okay, our most basic. All right, so far I've just been using the most basic tools that pretty much every software has. All right, I'm just gonna make a box. I'm gonna box this up. Okay, and I'm holding control just to get these perfect corners. Okay, let me just turn this into a. All right, bam. So I create this H. There's a couple things I want to do. I don't like ending at a corner. Okay, the software likes to put. Well, actually, I started up there. That's why. But I want to end. I want to start and end right here on this bottom part. I don't want to have that final cut on the corner because then it's kind of obvious. Here. Let's see how many I put it. Yeah, 3mm screw. Okay, here I'm not gonna put an offset just because I'm gonna manually do this offset. All right. So I'll tell you what I'm talking about right now. All right, 8 trims. Let's see, it's white, blue, 4 stars, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, and then that line. All right, so let me see where all these cuts are coming from. Okay, that's one cut. All right, I gotta fix that cut right there. Shouldn't be a cut. All right, there. Bam. All right, cool. That's how I just regulate my cuts. I just replay it, and I have it set where it stops at the cuts. All right, let's talk about push-pull, and then we're ready to go with this one, with this file right here. Okay, let me hide this right here. Actually, let me hide all these settings right here. All right, since I want the green represents the white, okay, so I want this green portion to be the bottom part. I'm going to use this as the push-pull, okay. I want at least a 1mm, okay, a 1mm of overlaps. Okay, so let me start with this one, this tatami. This is the easy one to work with. I could just push a push-pull of point. We could go like 0.75. Okay, that's just gonna, oops, push-pull 0.75. Okay, so that just extended my stitches. I put these dots here. Put the measurement tool. Okay, you could measure how much overlap you have. Okay, so right here we're looking at 0.93. Okay, I could give it a little bit tiny more. 0.75, 0.80. Okay, 0.80. Pull that up. All right, I'm good now. Okay, something else that you could do. Okay, 0.98. That's good. Something else that you could do. So let me undo that step. 1, 2. Another thing you could do, you could pull this up. Okay, so if I'm holding shift, I know it's doing it on the opposite side too. Okay, so I could pull this up, holding shift, so it's doing it on the opposite direction too. Pick this up here. Okay, you could get your push pull like that too. All right, so different ways. So let me measure this again. 9.8. All right, that's cool. Okay, and since I held the shift button, okay, well, lucky I checked because it didn't do it on this side. Let me see. All right, so I didn't do it here. Let's, bam, bam. Oh, okay, I see why. Oh, I'm supposed to measure right here. M. Okay, so it did do it. I was just checking the wrong thing. All right, 0.98. So I did it on both sides. All right, cool, cool. All right, so that means this tatami fill stitch, I just pulled it out, okay, just so there could be overlap, okay, so there won't be no gaps. Okay, you want to make sure that overlap exists right here. All right, and then so that's covering this part. Now we got to do the same for this top white part here. Okay, so what I need, I need a coverage of up to about right here. All right, I need there to be this much coverage. All right. Uh, so what I do, I'll escape here and I'll create a line. Bam, right here. Okay, so, and what I'm going to do, instead of making this sand stitch wider, okay, I'm just gonna push it down here. Okay, I'm gonna bring it down, holding control just so it doesn't shift anywhere. Okay. Let me undo that. Let me do it again. All right. I just want where the needle penetrations go. So right here. All right. Bam. So what I did, I pulled down this white part. I pulled it down a bit just so it could do I didn't want to do it on the blue because I want the blue to stay as is. Okay. Now I got to do the same thing here. All right. So I'm going to do it again what I just did. I want an overlap of 1 millimeter. Okay. So what I'm going to do this here, let me measure it, M. So I need to push all the way here at 1 millimeter. So what I'm going to do, escape here, bring a line here, select this stitch, bring it up. All right. And now if I measure from this line here to where my blue is, okay, I have about 1 millimeter of overlap. Okay. So what I did, this white part, okay, it's going to be a little bit smaller than this blue one. All right, that's fine. What you could have done, you could have made this white larger, but I didn't want to make my sand stitch too big. All right. All right. Let me know if you have any questions. I know it's kind of um, it's kind of it could be tricky. Okay, it could be tricky to overlap. Main thing is you want a 1 mm overlap between stitches. If not, if we don't put that overlap, uh, there we could have gaps in our designs. Okay. All right. So now I affected the border. Okay. So what I want to do, because I brought down the white part here. Okay. Here. Um, since I brought this down, this green part, okay, what's the green part, it's gonna pull in even more, right? Because push pull. So I want to bring down. What I want to do is bring in. I want to bring in my sand stitch. So what I could do is there's so many different ways to accomplish this. All right, I could bring this down a bit. All right, and then here I know this is gonna push out, so I could let me rewind this one again because I forgot one step here. What I got to do when I'm pulling down, I got to hold shift so it's doing it on the bottom side too. Okay, so let's check this bottom side. All right, so it did it here too. All right, then here we got to talk about the push. I know my sand stitches are pushing out, so I want to pull this out a tad bit here. Same thing, holding shift on the other side. Okay, so I should have done it here. Bam. All right, that's just taking care of push pull on our sides here. All right, so we should be good now. Let me see if we have any questions here. Um, I think in embroidery, the push pull compensation is one of the more trickier things, and it's just a lot of times when you do a test sew out, that's where you catch things that don't connect, and then you could kind of make little small adjustments to it. All right. Let me put the correct colors so you could kind of see what just happened. All right. So this is going to be white. And then this is going to be the blue. Bam. Stars. Red. And then that last border, white. All right. And then you want to check our, okay, we'll catch that trim right now. All right. Let's see our questions. All right. Salty gravy. Will the overlapping have an effect with the small size of the stars? Uh, no, it shouldn't have an effect. What could happen with the stars, and this is what usually happens with stars, is that they are going in different direction. Okay, I did pull this one up a tad bit so you could see. Usually, traditionally, when you do stars, let me ungroup this. So let's say this one here. And this one here. Okay, traditionally you would bring that star like here, right? But what you have is you do have some push pull. Um, we could have some gaps. Okay, that's why I had pulled it up here. Okay, but traditionally you would make your stars down here and they would close up. But with foam, okay, with foam, not in this situation because we're on top of a fill, it's not too much of a problem. But when we do the stars by itself, then it takes longer to clean. So I'm kind of finding new ways to kind of cover up and make the cleaning process a little easier. All right. Um, all right. Sherry, can you show us the correct start and endpoint places or reduce the trims? Sometimes the start or endpoints don't allow to move, even press, reshape. All right. Yeah, we'll do a full thing. Can you? And then can you show us how to rearrange the final sequence? Or yeah. Oh, all right. Good morning, William. All right. Right. All right, let's get back into software here. All right, the only thing I think I have one cut. It's this one coming here, running through here. H. So when I do, so let's say this bar here, I push H to reshape. I know I'm starting here. Okay, it has me ending here. So you could move. You should be able just to move the start stop. So up here, now it took away that cut that I had. Okay. Um, really sequencing. Okay, sequencing. You're just moving, selecting something from the right hand side and just dragging it through. Okay, that's really what you're doing when you're sequencing it. Um, let me make this black so you could kind of see what's happening. All right. So let's do a replay of what just happened. All right, made a cut here. So sometimes when you're doing push pull and moving items, it's gonna add cuts. So that's where I check my stuff here. All right. Actually, I'm gonna put this star back to how I normally digitize it. Okay, but if you do have gaps, okay, if you do have gaps, you could bring this one, this last one, since this is the last star to come down. You kind of bring it up a bit. All right. That was kind of an example just to show you if you are getting gaps. Okay, you kind of bring it up. All right. Let me check this cut. I have a cut right here. So what you could do if you just want to focus on a specific color, select this, hide others. All right, so I see that I got a cut right here, H. All right, I want an H here, and bam, bam, H. All right, took it away. Sometimes you just got to reposition these start stops. All right, now unhide all, T. All right, let's play this, R. Bam, bam, cuts. All right, so here we lay down the foam first. Okay, you could put a placement stitch so you know where to put the foam. Okay, but once you put the foam, it does this bottom one, it does the middle, it does the top. Okay, cuts. Now it's going to do the blue. Okay, so it did the bottom one, it walked its way up, did the top one, then it does the stars. Okay, then it does the border. All right, bam. So we got this one good to go. All right, this is the straightforward one. All right. Um, let's see. Let's go ahead. Let's copy this. Let's just drag it. All right. So that's way number one. Okay. All right. Thank you, Sidar. I got your message right here. All right. Thanks for that super chat right there. Okay. Right. All right, let's go with version number 2. Let's go on the camera right here. I'll let my camera on. All right. Just get a fresh piece of paper here. Okay. Let's talk about the traditional way. Okay, traditional way of doing foam. Okay, which is okay. So we got this one here, which is of course doing our walking stitch. Let me go get a pen. Get a pen right here. Okay, so same concept. We're gonna walk our way up. Okay, I like doing that just so it locks in that foam down below. Okay, so we're gonna do that. But what we're gonna do, okay, now we're gonna work with our caps. So we're not gonna put a border here. They're gonna be its own bars. Okay, so we want to create caps. Okay, caps are used so we could cut our foam. Okay, so here we have our caps coming in here. All right, the distance between these caps that I like, okay, usually 1 millimeter. Sometimes it might need 1.15 millimeters. Okay, so that's for the distance here. Okay, which I'm gonna kind of talk about. Okay, so we work this first cap, then we walk our way. Actually, the way I did it was here, and then we walk our way to the next side and do the caps for this side. Then we run our sand stitches. All right, so it's always the way I like to do it is you do the run stitch to hold it down, to hold down the foam, do your capping, and then do your sand stitch nice and clean. Okay, just a couple notes here. Okay, when you're doing straight lines like this, okay, uh, different practice. Okay, some people don't like to end here on the sides where you're gonna get a cut here on the sides. Sometimes you want to end somewhere here in the middle. So if that's the case, you just want to overlap. Okay, you just want to make sure. Let's say you're gonna stop here. Let's say you're gonna stop your design here. Okay, you want to make sure one distance goes past this way, and then the final one, when you close it up, okay, overlaps each other. All right, that's just in case if you don't want to end on the ends. All right, in this example, I'm just ending in the ends just to make it straightforward. Okay, so here we're not gonna walk our way up. Okay, so we're gonna cut, and then we're gonna start a new line. All right, because we cannot hide our walking stitches right now. All right, so once again, let me do another one because they're all pretty much similar. Okay, so first thing, okay, anytime you have sand stitches, you need to add, if you have a big opening here, because what happens here, our sand stitches perforates this whole area here. Okay, so what's happening here, okay, what's happening here, we're adding little mini cuts to our foam, but what happens is here, there's no cutting here, so we have to add these caps. Okay, so we could add more cuts to our foam. That way, when we pull it out, okay, we don't have foam popping out. All right, if that makes sense. All right. Okay, so on this round, we're gonna do that. We're gonna do this fill stitch. Okay, this fill stitch. We're going to do it first without foam. Okay, fill without foam. I think this would be the more traditional way that somebody would do it. Okay, so we're gonna have puff here, puff, puff, puff. So our 4 bars have puff. Okay, using this capping, capping, sand stitch, capping, capping, sand stitch. All right, and then our stars, puff, puff, and all I'm doing really is just changing the density on what we already have digitized. Okay, puff. Then this fill stitch here, okay, no puff. It's just flat, okay? Fill stitch, okay? The white portion, all right? That way, these stars, they kind of stand out, okay? They'll stand out, all right? Bam, bam. So let's go ahead. Let's knock this out. A lot of it is going to be copy and paste because we already got a lot of the stuff. All right. It's just a matter of adding our capping. All right. All right, William. Let me see. My son just got stationed where you are, believe Chicago, and that's right. He joined the Navy. Yeah, if he just joined. So yeah, I'm an instructor here at the. I'm across the street from boot camp, so I'm at the A school. I'm an instructor there. So if he goes to one of the schools, he might be able to see me right there. All right. Yep. Congratulations to your son if he joined here. All right. All right. Griff go. What's the cause of bird nesting? I always get it when trying puffs on caps. All right. Good chance is the design. There's so many different things that could happen. Setup, tension, so many different things that could be your needle. Okay. You gotta make sure your needle's in correctly. So you gotta go down the list. There's like a 10-point checklist that you gotta go through. Okay. So equipment, you always want to check your equipment. You want to check your digitizing and hooping. All right. All right. Let's go ahead. We're gonna do a lot of copy and paste right here. Okay. First, I'm gonna just let's see. Let me just do this one quick here. It's the capping that we're really that's gonna change it from here. Okay. So we're gonna walk our way up. Same thing to this corner. All right. And then let's create our caps. All right. Caps are always fun. All right. Really, what it is a box. Okay, so you could just make a box. Okay, I like to make it a 3 millimeters. All right, I'm kind of designing it so you see how we're gonna turn this box into a cap. Okay, H. All right, what you want to do? You want to be 1 millimeter out. Okay, of our design. So we're looking like right here. Okay. Put this line right here. All right, and then H. All right. There's so many different ways to do this capping here. Put a 3 here just to show you some. All right. So you want to look like a trapezoid. All right. Just so it could fit. It's like a puzzle piece fitting in here. Okay. And then, of course, we want to bring this a little tad bit smaller. So I'm going to hold shift. So it's doing it on both sides. All right. So notice here. Okay. There's a gap between my bars here. Okay. So at the end of the day, this capping here should be perfectly parked inside right here. Okay, so let's say here in theory you want this cap, right? When everything's sewed out, you want this to be like perfectly under that satin stitch. Okay. See. All right, so we're looking good here. All right, I'm putting these markers here so you could kind of see our full satin stitch is going to go there. I like to have about a 1 millimeter distance here. Okay, this is at 1.15. Usually that's where I'm playing through, either from 1 through 1.15. All right, and then we're gonna copy, duplicate, send this around. Why put this positive? All right, so it's on this side now. Okay, so same thing. Let me just measure our 1 millimeter. All right, so we're good right there. All right, now I'm gonna grab this one and just copy and paste this one. Or bar. All right, bam. This one already has the push-pull here on the top, so I'm just going to leave it the way it is. The only thing I got to do is adjust this so it could fit right here. All right. Let's hide others or hide this. All right, let's replay this. All right, bam, bam. All right, cool. So let's start from the beginning. H to here, H. Then we got to walk our way up. So we're walking from here, H. We want to start up here and here. Actually, I'm going to start up here and right here. Select this, H. Put this part here. All right, H. And then go here, here. Now I'm going to walk my way up here. And then here, this bottom one, H. I want it to start where I ended here. And I want it to end right here. And then this bar, H. All right, just putting start stops and then stopping it right here. All right, so now let me fix these. Bam, bam. Came in here, comes in here, then it leaves on the bar. All right, cool. So now, so I have a cut right here. Yep. All right, so now there should be no cuts here. All right, let's play this up. Slow this down. It's gonna walk, it's gonna do that. Bam. All right, I just gotta fix this distance up here. Bam. All right, so here on the software, you'll see that it's kind of sticking out. Okay, but once this pushes in, so in real life, this sand stitch is gonna push out and this is gonna push in, so it'll kind of park itself inside. All right. Then you do that 4 other times for different colors. All right. And then let's see. All right. And then here, let me show you a final one that I have here for this one. This is chai 3 bars here. All right. So I got it here. Okay, with our adjusted. All right, so here, this was our final one. So here is where my sand stitches come out. And then this guy here is nicely parked right here. Okay, so all I did, once I did this first one, copied and paste for the other ones here. All right, so same thing up here. This here is on the bottom. And then now my stars are going to stand out because they're 3D puff. All right. All right, so let me do a replay here to kind of show you in slow motion how we're going to go about doing this one. Let me go super slow motion so you kind of see. Let me change this white to a different color so you kind of see. All right. So I have just different colors just so you can kind of see what's happening right here. All right. All right. So let's start from the beginning. Okay. So here I am starting from the bottom. Okay. Working my way up. All right, so let's go a little faster. So it's gonna make this fill stitch here in the middle. This part here is not foam. It's just gonna run the fill stitch. This is where the stars are gonna be on top of. All right. So the way I've seen this flag, I've seen it where they just left it blank, but here, if you do it on a black hat, then you want to put like a white bottom part here. All right. So then you let it run here. Okay. It's gonna cut this. So it's gonna get here. It's gonna cut. Cut. All right. Now it's gonna go down to the bottom. So it does the cap. Does the cap. Now it's gonna run through all the way out. All right. So we put in our own underlays. Okay. We're controlling the whole direction here. Okay. Cut here. Now it's going to do the top part. So it's the same color. Okay. It's going to run out. Same thing. This is just copy and paste right here. Okay. Same bars. The only thing we're looking out for is that it is doing the correct overlays with the next color. All right. So I did this one. Cut here. Now it's going to do the blue. Well, actually, it is doing the stars. So in this order, it really doesn't matter. Okay, so it's doing the stars. This is 3D puff. So now we moved so now we changed it to 0.18. Cut here. It's gonna go to the next one. Okay. So it's the same star that we used in the beginning. The only thing we did was change the density. All right. So let's do this one quick. All right. And then this last one. Bam, 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 bam. Now it's going to do the blue. Okay. It's gonna do the blue. So same thing. Let's slow this down a bit. All right. So let's start from the right here. Okay. Close it up. Bam, cut. Now it's gonna go down here, walk, do the capping, here, and now walk its way out. So pretty straightforward. Okay, so really what we got here is 4 shapes. We have the 4 rectangles, and then we have the 4 stars, and then the bottom fill stitch. Okay, so all we really got to look out for is the capping on the long bars. Okay, other than that, a lot of it is straightforward. Okay. And then let me just show you real quick. Okay, so this was the second way to create this one. So let me put the correct colors here. All right, this would be white here, and then this red, and then this blue. Yep. So this is how it would look here. All right. And then the third way, let me just show you real quick because we're kind of past the hour right now. Okay. This third way, okay, very similar to the first way, except that now it's a combination of both. Okay, so we're capping our bottom 2 and our top 2. Okay, so we cap these top ones, bottom ones. Okay, and instead of doing a full border around like we did on the first one, we're just gonna put a border here on our fill stitch here in the middle. Okay, here in the middle. So this will look like this. All right, so this is how it's gonna look like. Okay, since we have a fill stitch here, we still got to cover, all right, and put a border on our fill stitch. All right, but other than that, we kept all this as is. So let's kind of run this one. Actually, let me make this black so we can see it good. Okay, let's run a replay on this one. This was the third way to do it. Okay, so a lot of it is just similar. Okay, and I have the stitch out of these 3 that I want to show you so you could see the difference of it. So a lot of times is you send it out to a digitizer or you're digitizing it yourself. And especially when you're sending it out to a digitizer, if you don't tell them exactly how you want it, then they're gonna make the decision. Okay, they're gonna make the decision of what route to go with and how to make it look. Okay, usually they do a good job in choosing the correct way to do it. Okay, but sometimes your customer might want it a specific way. So it's always a good way to kind of have different options. Okay, so in this one, this is all on top of puff. Okay, so it did this fill stitch on top of puff. Okay, it's gonna do this, it's gonna cap it here, right? So this is still a form of capping. So on the left side, so you notice it's gonna close it up here. That's just so the foam, okay, so we could perforate the foam, then it's gonna do the other side. All right, so we got this. And then here, from here on out, okay, so it's doing the capping. Now it's doing the regular bars here. Okay, so the same concept as what we are doing before. Okay, so it's doing that band down here, then the stars here. All right. All right, cool, cool. So let me just let this run right here. And then the only thing I'm looking out for is how many cuts do we have? Make sure we don't have unnecessary cuts. Okay. Making sure our densities are good and making sure that we connect good. All right. Stars, bam, bam. All right, good to go. All right. All right, let me see. Bam, bam. All right. Pull up. Oops. Let me pull up my other video right here. All right, what I want to do, I want to show you the final outcomes of these. All right. All right. So I do have stitch outs. Now let me show you one thing, okay? What I like to do, okay? This is kind of doing it untraditional way, right? So if you are working with white thread or light thread, of course you want to use a white foam, right? If you're gonna do it, if you're doing it for a customer or as a final project, you want to use white foam. But when I do a sample, okay, when I do a sample, I like to do the opposite. I like to use a foam that's you're not supposed to use. So in this situation, we have white thread. Okay, we wouldn't want to use black foam, but I like to do my sample with a black foam. Okay, and the reason is so I could find anything that's any imperfections. All right, any imperfections, I could find it. All right, hold on. Let me go on my screen real quick. Let me just change batteries out real quick. All right, so in this situation, okay, let me put the correct colors on this one. So in this situation, all right, here white. Okay, real world situation, you would want to use a white foam, right? So it could blend in and okay. But when I do my sample out, I like to do the opposite. I like to use black foam. That way, any imperfection and anything that's not done correctly is going to get highlighted. All right. Like it's going to be very noticeable. So here, since I did it in black foam, we could see anything that's imperfection or anything, we could catch it right away. Okay. Where sometimes if you got if we were to use white foam, right, we could kind of a lot of a lot of small details we wouldn't catch. All right, so you'll notice that I have black foam under. But if you're doing this, if you're doing an actual stitch out, don't use black foam. Okay, don't use black foam. All right, let me connect this real quick. All right, back on track. Let's go full screen right here. All right, let me fix this color real quick, the lighting. Let me lower it. All right, so these were the three. Let's do the first one that we did, okay? The first one that we did. Hold on. We're like super zoomed in right here. Hold on, let me make it a little bit brighter. All right, so here, okay, here, this is the one where we didn't add any capping or anything. By us doing the border, okay, by us doing the border, okay. So anything you see black, if you had white foam, okay, that would easily just blend in. All right. So as you can see, we would definitely not use black foam as a final product. Okay. But I like to use black foam just so I could find anything that's completely off. All right. Let me see. All right. I think we're good right here. Okay. What I did do, okay, so I'm always looking at lessons learned when I'm doing these. All right. The stars I did. So you notice that I put the pool comp to 0.40. I think here the pool comp was at 0.25. Okay. So lessons learned here, I would just bump up the pool compensation a bit. Okay. Because right here they're looking a little narrow. All right. But coverage wise, okay. So all our push pull. Okay. Perfect. All right. So our connections here on our borders, okay, came out looking perfect here. All right, let's go with the second one that we did. Okay. This is the second one that we did. Okay, so on the second one, we did the fill first, so no foam on the fill. Okay, that allows the stars to pop out. Okay, then we have our 4 bars. Okay, so we got the 4 bars. Okay, notice here you will see the black foam right below. Okay, in a real world situation, okay, using white foam, this would definitely just disappear, right? We wouldn't even see that. All right, capping here. We're always looking at our capping. All right, so it's nice and tucked in here. Okay, now if we were to put this on a hat, okay, there would be a couple of changes. All right, a couple of changes because hats, of course, the flat surface. Let me just bump up the light a bit. Sometimes flat surface, right, does everything pretty straightforward, but when we do it on a hat, it wants to change a bit. Okay, so it's always good to not only do your samples on a flat, but also on a hat. Okay, and then this one was the third one that we did. Okay, which looks very clean. So we got the bars. Okay, we got the bars, and we have this one kind of by itself. All right, so I think so. We have one design. Okay, one design with 3 different outcomes. Okay. So let me know which way would you kind of go with? Would you go kind of this way? I'm kind of leaning towards this way because I like this border that it has. Okay. Especially if we go with white foam, right? And then with the adjustment of the red kind of sticking out more. Okay. So I'm definitely going to sample these out on a hat. I'll put these down for a free download so you could test them out yourself. Okay. But they are looking nice and clean, nice and sharp. I like the color. The color scheme of this, right? Really makes it stand out. Okay. All right. So Salty Gravy says he likes the second one. Yeah, I like this second one too. Okay. So I'm gonna test all three out on a hat, and then I'll post them on pictures. So I'll post them on our Facebook. So if you're following us on Facebook, I'll post it on there. Okay. But you could test it out yourself too and see which one you like. Okay. Actually, I like this one. I like this one. And this one too. So I gotta see it. I'm gonna make them all on heads and see which one I like best. All right. So here for the embroidery class, I definitely want to go. I definitely want to go digitizing heavy. Okay. So this one here, okay, very straightforward because it's we had if you break it down, we have 4 bars, 4 stars, and then this middle one that we kind of have the option of putting foam or no foam down below. Okay, so this one here, kind of straightforward. Okay, so as we're moving on forward, okay, we'll just kind of uh, add more information on top of information. All right. So Juana likes the third one, bigger stars. Yeah, I like this one too. So here it's the same star design, right? So this one, these here, they're kind of sinking in. But as soon as we kind of eliminate that puff that was kind of behind it, it really stands out. Okay. So yeah, this one makes the stars really stand out. Okay. And I'm always experimenting with stars. Okay. Usually stars is probably the most cleanup in all of any designs. We're always adding extra time cleaning up stars. So I'm always figuring out different ways. So I do want to do an episode just on stars. All right. But yeah, everything's looking clean. All right. And we could use the same concept as we did last week with the USA. You can also make the bars of the USA flag, right? You could do it's kind of like the same concept as this one too. All right. All right. So I want to thank everybody for hanging out today. Uh, I'll put this down on the download. You could dissect the files and stitch it out. And I'm going to later today, I'll put these 3 on a hat, see how they come out. And I'll post the pictures on our Facebook under Romero Threads. All right. So I want to thank everybody for stopping by. Uh, I'll see everybody next Saturday, same time, 8 a.m. Central. And any questions, any information you want to add, you could add it down below in the comments. All right. And I'll see you next week. All right. Peace out, everybody.